My name is Gina Ferrus, and I welcome you to our podcast, Let's Not Be Bystanders, where we explore my work and journey for 30 years in Haiti, living life and establishing two successful NGOs. Every episode will share my understanding on how to run a successful NGO, exploring the realities of social injustice that inhibits Haiti as a nation to advance. We will explore my work at FEJ, and I will provide guidance to those who have interest and are seeking to understand Haiti, sharing every episode an experience of hope and how to build a legacy of love and unity.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm your facilitator for today's episode of Let's Not Be Bystanders podcast, where it will talk about the Chache, Lavi program by Fondation Enfant Jesus. We'll be talking about it with Gina Ferrus, the CEO and president of Fondation Enfant Jesus. Could you please introduce yourself, Gina?
Thank you, Rachel. Hi, my name is Gina Ferrus. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fondation Enfant Jesus, FEJ.
Thank you. So we know that one of the successful programs of FEJ is the Chache Lavi program. First of all, could you tell us the meaning of Chache Lavi?
Well, the name means in English seeking life. And how we came to that name was the first cohort of graduates did not like the original name, which was Reinsertion Empowerment Program. And so they changed the name to Chache Lavi.
And could you tell us about the history, but also the objectives of that program?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the history of that program has two facets. First of all, when I realized that in the school, that majority of the parents could not afford to pay that registration fee of $1, it made me realize that in order to provide and meet the objectives we had for the children, we needed to uplift the parents as well, to be able to follow their children in the type of curriculum that we were setting up for the kids. And one of the things I also discovered in that community, when you're giving them things for free, they take it for granted. But when you give them the opportunity to give and participate, it gives people their dignity. And in doing the Seeking Life program, we uplifted each and every one of those parents that participated in that program. I believe that this program is made and catered for those that are the most poorest. And I was inspired by the program created by Gammon. I don't know if you know that program. It was created originally in India. And also the obstacles I found on ground, I won't mention, but there is a nonprofit organization that I approach because I am a true believer in synergy. Why create something that is already there? Instead, why don't you just partner with that person? So I approached them at the time, and when they explained to me how the program worked, it automatically eliminated our benefactors. You had to have a bank account, a certain amount of money in the bank account, and in our case, majority of the people we serve don't even know how to read and write. They're the poorest of the country. And so we felt that we needed to give them the tools to be eligible for to be able to take a loan from an organization of that kind or others that exist in Haiti, even go to the bank and get a loan. But first we had to lift them up, give them the tools to be able to be eligible and continue whatever they would choose to do. Originally, we allowed them to do all kinds of businesses. Some were very successful, some were not. I would like to share one example of how it takes, so we taught them the basics like, hygiene, nutrition. Nutrition about not going and buying, because Haiti now is a dumping ground, basically a dumping ground for every kind of food that we don't eat no longer in North America. Whereas Haiti is a country that has lots of land and we should be producing our own food. But during the dictatorship era, that was not encouraged. So a majority of Haitians were just all making their way to Port-au-Prince, and that's why Port-au-Prince is overpopulated today. And also everyone is selling. You'll go to Port-au-Prince, you'll see in the street the same product being sold over and over. They're all doing the same thing. So we also wanted to create in them, kind of wake up the creativity in them. I have to tell you, Haitian people are very creative, very innovative. So in the first process of this project was to define who could benefit from this program. And literally it was everyone that didn't know how to read and write, had no money, and could not sustain themselves and their families. We didn't discriminate on their status, marital status. Everyone had access to it. But we did choose to start with 100 families of the students from our school as the pilot project.
So you mentioned the first process of Chache Lavi. Could you explain to us the program in detail, how it's structured?
Yes. There are 5 phases in the program. The first phase is developing the criteria and the registration and evaluating to see if this person is eligible to, follow this program. The program is 18 months, so it does require quite a commitment from the benefactors. And the second phase is when we start the orientation phase, where we orient them and do workshops on specific topics that they need to learn. And we often give them homework to go home with. Like, for example, nutrition, how to make a family budget. How do you define a family? What are your rights? Because majority of our benefactors are women. This is, they say in Haiti, the Haitian woman is le potomitan. She holds the family together. And so, majority of our women being women, and we wanted them to know they had rights, because we live in a society where it's very masculine. I should say very macho, if I should be correct about how most Haitian, unfortunately, but that's the reality. It's a very macho society, and yet the women are the real hard workers of the society. So we wanted to teach them their rights, and that came perfect, because before there was no rights for women. It's when they created a women ministry, they fought, and now today there are legal rights for women in the country. So it was a great opportunity to educate them on that. And then what we do is we start getting them interested on what could you do to sustain your life. And in the first cohort, a lot of them went for small businesses, but there was some that were very creative. Some were not so successful because they did the traditional thing everybody else was doing, selling rice and beans. But some really understood, and they did some creative things. And once, I want to give you that example of that one particular woman who created the fact that she lived in a community where it would take a person, and that time cellular phones just arrived in Haiti, so everyone had a cellular. Even the poorest person, everybody had a cellular. So, but to charge your cellular phone, you have to buy phone cards, minutes. And she decided to be the main distributor to sell minutes to everyone in the community. She had monopoly in the community of 20,000, so you can imagine her success. Raising 8 kids alone, she built her own house and became very autonomous and sent all those kids to study and go higher in their education. That is one of my favorite stories to share about Chache Lavi. So the third phase is then they have an idea what they want to do. And so now we have the Chache Lavi coordinator who works in detail with every single one, with others in the team, to help them build their business plan. And once they do that, we initially give them 70% of the money. We do not give it to them on cash. our team goes out and with them to buy whatever business. And in the early days, some wanted to sell chickens, others wanted to do dry goods, clothing. They all had different things, but we would buy it for them. We would not give them the money. And then our agents and coordinators would follow them step by step in helping them implement a business. This is the longest part. And in between, we bring in guest speakers to inspire them, for them to get discouraged in other fields, people that have succeeded, whether it's local or international speakers that come to share how they made it in their lives. And it's more inspirational testimonies where they get to ask questions and really get engaged. And on the fourth phase, we start to let them decide and develop their own initiatives and encourage them to do what we call cooperatives, meet each other on a regular basis to support each other. And once they do that, and then when they're at the end, almost at the end, we graduate. We have a huge, very impressive ceremony where everybody gets a chance to share their success, those who feel they have benefit from the program and graduated. We, in the early days, had some failures, people, and then we realized because some of them had mental health problems or other problems which inhibit them to really follow the program. And after graduation, the first cohort, we decided to ask them to nominate who they wanted to be the godmothers of the next cohort. So what we would do with the second cohort is those who were nominated godmothers would be mentors to the previous group, the new group, and so on and so on. And once they are feeling comfortable in the business, we give them the 30% cash. And they are asked to commit to give back 30% of the money so we can keep putting money in the piggy bank so that others could benefit from it. That's the program.
Well, thank you. So in general, FEJ has a holistic approach to all of its programs, but why do you think it's particularly important for Chache Lavi?
Oh, because, again, like I said, a lot of these women, their health were not good, so they had access to free medical health care. We supported them they were asked to do a medical as well. So from the get start, we knew where their health was, and they knew. And so they had access to that, as well as any activities that we would do in the organization, they would benefit from it. And as well as they now, once they graduate, I never forgot the first group in the next school year, how they were so proud to be the first ones in line to register their kids and pay their kids' tuition. And you can imagine how that, giving people back their self-respect and dignity, there is no price. It's priceless. And that's what Chache Lavi is about, giving back people their self-respect and their dignity.
So why
and options too.
Yes.
Options. Because when you don't know how to read and write, you don't understand what you have as options. But once you start educating, opening their eyes and educating them, it's freedom. Education is freedom in every way you can give it. Mm-hmm.
So why do you think it's important to empower women but also make them the center of Chache Lavi?
Well, Chache Lavi was never created for us to be in the center. It was created for them. We already knew after the first cohort that we wanted them to empower each other and support each other. And that comes from the model from the gammon concept from India, where, in rural communities, women that are working on different things, it's good to share and learn from each other. That empowers them, and it also provides support among themselves. No one can do anything all alone. I believe we all need each other, and in supporting another person to achieve their goals always is a plus.
Mm-hmm. And so why is women's health and also economic empowerment at the core of this program?
because like I shared, the Haitian woman is known, it is known it has been illustrated in all kinds of ways that they are the pillar of the family. You need to, there is something that is sad that I've seen evolving in Haiti during the years I've been there, which saddens me because I left Haiti when I was 4. I returned at the age of 29 and started in this journey and experience. And so I didn't know Haiti. I know Haiti through the eyes of my parents, who always shared their stories and how they lived in Haiti. Haiti was not the way I found it. It was a very family-oriented community. But today, the reality is, because majority of those who are poor are women, and they are also the major breadwinner of the family, they often find themselves in a cycle where they end up with a first man and they'll have 2 kids, and the man takes care of them while they're pregnant, and then he leaves, and then another one comes, and another one comes. I can tell you stories about women in that community of La Modèle that have had 8 children with 4 different fathers. And so it's become kind of that's our welfare system. Men that, care for a woman when she's pregnant, he has a relationship with her, and then he moves on, and then she ends up having to find another one. I often said, this is the only true welfare system we have, which is sad. And that was the cycle I wanted to help break, to help a woman know you can make it, you can take care of like the story I told you about the woman who has 8 children, and with her little business was empowered to take her life in charge and that of her children.
So you mentioned a bit about microcredit, but could you tell us how you use it as a tool of economic development in this program?
Well, that's a very important thing you're saying about. We don't lend money. We give the money. We only require them to give back so we can support other women. So we don't have a banking system. That was never the objective. Keep in mind, as I shared from the beginning, why we created it was because there are lending micro programs in Haiti. The problem is the people who really need it do not have access to it. And that's why Chache Lavi is pertinent. And I'm proud to say, since we started that program, we have empowered, just in that community, over 400 women. I should say 400 individuals, because today we also have men in the program, and they do very well as well. But we've also done this program in other places in Haiti. At some point, I partnered with an organization called Soul for Haiti. They're in an island in the south, in Lavi, and we implemented that program as well for them on that island.
So you mentioned the success story of the woman who sold minutes for cell phones, but do you have any other success stories you can share with us?
In Chache Lavi?
Yes.
Oh, wow, I can share. You've got time? Well, I can share with you another interesting story. Was a woman who, I'm going to share you a story about a man who used to be, because it's a small community, right? And so there's not much entertainment. So that's why they're having so many babies. So he created a little corner in a, what do you call that? Cul-de-sac, how do you say that? End road, that everyone has to pass through to get through the community. He created a small little bar with little lights. He created a little tent where people can come in the evening, have a drink, have some music, do some dancing. He even invested in a small little refrigerator in propane and had a little small generator. He made his money work for him. And today it's still there. It's a place, a hangout place in the community, and he's making his little money.
That's awesome.
That's another creative little business. I thought that was very innovative.
So after years of successfully running the Chache Lavi program, what are your future plans for this program?
I believe I've seen this program work, and I think this program can be implemented in any country in the world. I recently, being in Montreal now, I do some consulting work, and I've done some consulting work for an organization called the Black Board of Educators, and they had a program called Elevation for poor people in Montreal, in the Black community. And I incorporated Chache Lavi, and I saw the changes in people that were not working, people that were asylum seekers, the way we embraced them. It was a success. Unfortunately, I could not do it for 18 months. And it was a different context because the people here are much more, we're not dealing with an illiterate community. So that makes a huge difference, because working with people that are illiterate, it requires patience, a lot of love, and a lot of compassion. And sometimes they get discouraged, so you have to know how to bring them back as well. And that's why we take our time, and we accompany them throughout the whole process, so they never feel that they're alone. They know they have someone, people that knows how to do businesses and things, supporting them throughout the journey. Mm-hmm.
So for our listeners who want to help, what's the best way that they can support the Chache Lavi program?
Well, like I like to say, education is freedom. And there are a lot of people out there that are poor, whether they're in Haiti or in other countries, who are not free because they are not able to care for themselves or their families. And this is an opportunity to really help someone find their true self and freedom, and empower them to be able to stand on their 2 feet and give them some dignity. And self-respect is an important thing. We all need that. And so it doesn't require much to support a woman or a man that wants to lift themselves out of poverty and give their self a better life as well as their family. So I encourage you to support this program in any way you can. Sometimes a woman wants to do a business, and some of these things could be in kind as well. But each of these women really costs us per month $50 to be able to be in this program. So accompanying a woman or a man for 50 months with $50 can change their lives tremendously. Transformational experience. So I seek your assistance. I appeal to those who believe that it's better to teach someone how to fish instead of giving them the fish.
Well, Gina, I'd like to thank you for telling us about the Chache Lavi program
Thank you,
today.
Rachel. Thank you. You've been a great listener.
Sorti là